My name is Jack Edward, and coming up is the ultimate guide to making paper miniatures for Dungeons & Dragons, Pathfinder, Frostgrave, OnePageRules, or any kind of tabletop role-playing game or wargame. I'm going to take you through all of the supplies you need, the sourcing for the minis, the crafting process, and storage. So sit tight, chillax, it's all here. This is play material. My name is Jack Edward, and you are listening to, I guess I'm calling it play material. I actually, by the time of recording, I haven't uploaded any videos yet, so bear with me. This is the first one. And if you're watching this, you need minis. You need minis, man. You need miniatures for maybe like a role-playing game like D&D or Pathfinder or some fantasy RPG, or maybe you're like a war gamer, you need it for Warhammer or Age of Fantasy, right? Like you play OnePageRules games, or you want to play Frostgrave, right? Those are pretty cool. Miniatures agnostic games. Or you just want to like try something new, throw something new on the board. I'm a big fan of minis. I've always been a big fan of minis. Mainly my thing's been TTRPGs. I play a lot of D&D. And so I love gridded combat, 1-inch squares, tactical battles. I want it all, baby. But as much as I love miniatures, actual collections of minis are totally unfeasible for me. Like I can do it. Like I brought this guy out, right? I've got this like orc, as you can see. Like let me see if I can get that up there, right? Like I can paint, right? It's fun. I love this. This is beautiful, right? But like this took me, well, by the end of it, this took me many hours, and boy, oh boy, I switched to paper because paper is, for a lot of reasons. Here's why, and it's a great time for 3D minis, right? Especially with 3D printing, right? Archvillain, Archives, Lord of the Print. These guys have like incredible things they're putting out. But the fact of the matter is, I don't have time for it. I don't have the resources. I don't have the storage. I live in an apartment in Brooklyn, and I cannot store piles of minis. Here's why I changed to paper minis, right? They're cheap. Obviously, it's printing. It's color prints on cardstock, so it's not free. But man, is it cheap. I needed something highly customizable and broad. I'm running all sorts of stuff, and I'm throwing monsters in from anything, right? My D&D group gets new shit every week, and so I need new monsters every week. And I don't want my imagination to be limited by 2 different kinds of goblins. I need 100 different kinds of goblins, right? So customizable and broad. I want something that packs flat. I'm going to tease that for later. Ready? Because hold on one second. Ready? Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Binders. I got a binder that can fit. My binders fit like, I've got a few of these. They fit hundreds of minis. And as a bonus, actually, sorry, I was leaning over for a second. As a bonus, one thing I think is really cool is there's kind of ways in which they're, so I've got like an orc here. I actually think sometimes they really pop well at the table. Like, obviously this has a certain charm to it, right? But you're not looking up close like this as a player. You're looking far away like that, right? And a lot of times that's going to be more visible than that. If you've got like 10 different types of mobs out or whatever, look at that. Look, you can see that detail, that nice white border. It's kind of got like a cartoony style. It pops, and that's really, really nice for me. So here's what I'm going to do with this video, right? Who knows what kind of videos I'm going to be making with this channel, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do with this video, because I want to get it out there. I spent a lot of time honing this technique, and I've run these paper minis. I've run this system for like years, and it works for me. I bang tons of them out, man. Like, I can bang out in an hour 100 different minis after picking them out, actually making them in an hour. I could like print them, cut them, get them ready for the table. And I'm really happy with the method that I've come up with. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to lay all that out for you. I'm going to take you through all the supplies you need, the minimal supplies, no frills kit you need to make this stuff, just the essentials from lots of experimentation. I'm going to show you where I get my minis, right? All of a sudden I need kobolds. Where am I going? So I'll show you where I go online, the various sources, the various ways I like hack different kinds of minis together, sometimes custom jobs. I'm going to take you through physically making them, right? I've got a sheet of like ice methods for a game I'm running up, so I'm gonna take you through that part. And I'm gonna actually I'm gonna take you from here to here. And by the way, I'm gonna show you. Oh, sorry for the audio there. By the way, this is how they stand. They stand on plastic bases like that, right? So on the table, you can't see that really well, but there it is. I'm going to show you how to physically make them. I'm going to show you kind of how I store them, which is easy. And then if this is popular, maybe I'll do follow-ups on various topics. But that's what I'm going to do. Okay, y'all, are you ready? Are you ready? Let's do it. Part 1. What do you need to do this? What do you need to do to set yourself up for all of these paper minis? First up, you're going to need a color printer. It's kind of the one thing I'm not going to go through right in front of you. I'm not going to drag my printer out. I use an HP inkjet. 3830 is like a office jet or something. You need access to something that can print good color prints. Simple stuff. Steal, beg, borrow, get it done professionally, I guess, if you want to pay for it, but then you're not in control of the paper. Second, paper, cardstock. You just need cardstock. Cardstock is a little bit more expensive than printer paper, right? As for what kind you need, I get this mine from Target or whatever. You can get it kind of anywhere. You can get it by the sheet at a place like FedEx sometimes. Cardstock comes between, technically, like paper is measured by weight, right? Like cardstock is 65 to 110 pounds, but the sweet spot is sort of 70 to 90 pounds for me. Why? Well, you need something. Really, the reason what you don't want to do is you don't want to go too heavy, because really, really heavy cardstock, at one point you're going to need to fold it, and it doesn't fold that well. But most importantly, if you put really hardcore cardstock through a color printer, even like a big office printer, it'll like jam it up, which is really bad and sucks, and will ruin your nice paper that you paid money for. And so between 70 to 90 pound cardstock is the sweet spot for me, and you want matte, not glossy. You don't want photo paper, because then it looks like plasticky and shit, and I don't like that. Maybe you like it, but personal preference, I like matte cardstock. So you need a colored printer and you need the paper. 70 to 90 pound cardstock. You need scissors, any home scissors. Look at this. Anything that's serious for adults that cuts. Nothing too fancy. I make so many paper minis, or I have, that I use like a little like sharpener every once in a while on them. Like those the ones you just get at like any kitchen supply store. They're called like a steel. They look like a metal stick, right? I use those. But just get yourself any piece of scissors. You don't need something serious. It just needs to cut straight lines. That's it, folks. And then what have I got? Scissors. Real paper crafters will sometimes use X-Actos and razors. There's going to be paper crafters watching this who are like, oh my god, dude, like get yourself a proper knife. I have a proper knife. I just don't use it on paper minis because you don't need it. I'm not doing super precision stuff. For terrain, if I ever do a paper craft terrain video, God help me, I might. Then I break out the X-Actos. But you do not need that for what we're doing. And then Elmer's glue stick. No fancy glue, no painting glue on, nothing special. Regular scissors, regular glue stick. Sometimes it's white, sometimes it's this one's sad. I destroyed this. Sometimes it's white, sometimes it's purple, but simple home kit. And then here's my magic secret. Here's my special magic. Plastic bases from a brand called Litko, Litko, Litko. You can get them on Amazon. However you feel about shopping on Amazon, you're going to need to probably do it here. These slotted plastic bases, 30 millimeter thick. This is what your minis are going to go into. This is what makes sure they pack flat in a binder. A lot of people bundle them with special paper bases that stay on there, but then they don't pack into a binder nicely. But these bases, they come in, the regular inch size is 25. Look at that. That's a 1-inch square, like you're going to find on your battle map, right? It's fitting perfectly into a 1-inch square. And then these are maybe the 40. Yeah, these are 40 millimeter, and I've got some 50 millimeters here that you can see. So I'm going to put my, you can't, I'm sorry, it's top down. I know you like can't see the minis top down, but you're going to have to, so this is a goblin, right? He's chilling. And then this owlbear, I think, fits into this one right there. Isn't that, look at that. And this is a secret weapon. I keep a thing right here, as you can see, like full of Litko bases. I'm going to put the link in the thing below. 3mm thick, clear acrylic, slotted, with a curved slot in them. Standard size for a regular 1-inch square is 25mm. And then you can get 40 or 50. You probably want to go up to 50 for the full full 2 square by 2 square look, if you'd like. So I keep tons of these around, and everything fits into these except for the last little piece is these card stands. These are, well, they're called card stands. They're like a board gaming accessory. This is for everything that is not going to fit in a standard size. Like, look at this. I've got this white dragon over here. This white dragon is not going to fit in a Litko base of any kind, so I just give him this. I just pop him into that right there, and he's set to go, right? And the last hack for all your supplies you're going to need, actually not even a new supply. Sometimes you're going to get something crazy shaped, right? I got this giant skeleton, a frost giant skeleton, right? I needed to run him. Oh, this was such a pain, right? Okay, I shove him in his base, his card holder. You can also get these on Amazon. They're just called card stands. And then I put him on, and he falls. And he knocks over the other paper minis. It's a hassle, right? And he won't stay up every time I move him. You take a big Litko base. You take a card stand, and you make them kiss. You take a dot of super glue right here on the middle and put that there. And you get this. And it's something's written on this one. Oh, no shit. I'm actually discovering this in real time. It says, made you read this. I think I know which one of my players. You got me. You made history. You made YouTube. The player who played that prank on me. I know who that is. She's going to love that. And nothing's budging from one of these. So that's your thing. Oh, I forgot to add the best part of these clear bases, by the way, is, as you can see, some of these are like marked up. They've got, I don't know if you can tell on the camera, whatever markers you're using for your wet erase board, if you're using like a vinyl, like a Chessex mat, I highly recommend a Chessex mat, the classic D&D gridded mat. The coolest thing about this is, I'm going to put these goblins on here. I've got one goblin already. I can't see him past my microphone. So I've got these 2 goblins, right? This is my favorite thing. Sometimes I'll throw 2 goblins out there, and I'll go like this. You can mark either hit points, maybe you've done 10 damage or whatever. Watch this. Number 1 and 2. And so I'll just throw these goblins out here, like Goblin 1, Goblin 2. And then when my players are like, I just did 10 damage, and I'm looking behind my screen, I'm like, okay, to which one? And they're like, 2. And I'm like, great, number 2 takes 10 damage. And so I love that. And then this just, look at my finger, this just wipes right off. Awesome. Those are the supplies you need. I'm going to run it through again. Ready? Color printer. I'm going to put this all in this video description probably, right? Color printer. And the cardstock. 70 to 90 pounds. Matte, not glossy. Scissors. Any old pair will do. Elmer's glue stick. Well, any glue stick. I'll tell you what, I've used shittier glue sticks than this to great effect. And Litko bases. Litko bases and card stands. And this is the kit, right? So that's it. These are going to cost you a few bucks. These are going to cost you a few bucks. You probably already have this. This will be at the dollar store. Most of the money you're going to spend here is going to... Actually, I go through tons of these. But if you make hundreds of these... If you make hundreds of paper minis, you're actually going to go through dozens of these. But cardstock and actually like printer ink is going to be what the expense is, but it's going to be nothing. I can probably get through 500 to 1,000 minis without having to replace my printer ink, which is Pretty sweet. Okay, now let's get to sources. What are the sources for all these images you see before you? Okay. The first thing I want to show you is Printable Heroes. Printable Heroes has a Patreon. There's a guy, he has this huge library. There's 47 pages here of terrain, of creatures, classic D&D monsters, and all sorts of stuff, really. Things of all sizes, too. Giants. And a lot. You could sort it by challenge rating, right? Let's just say you only want really low-level monsters. You can sort it by terrain. You can even sort. This is pretty cool. Alignment, right? Environment. I just want desert stuff. That's cool. Look at this. Mummies pop right up. Giant centipedes. Onis. Blue dragons. Look at that's funny. You can even sort by resources. They've even got Spelljammer stuff. But here's a special bonus for y'all. Well, let's just say, first I want to say, like, look, you just search, right? Goblins. Boom. Tons of goblin stuff. And this is kind of cool, right? You can get, one of the nice things about Printable Heroes is color options. So let's just say I go to this elf. Yeah, look at this. Like, okay, new tab, right? Loading. I've got this elf paladin, and you can get her in different colors or whatever. But you can also get like a drow version of various kinds. And so there's just so many options. And as a bonus, for all y'all wargamers out there, the guy who makes Printable Heroes, I forget his name, he's got a Discord. A lot of this is, by the way, if you subscribe to Patreons for Paper Minis creators, get into the Patreons, man. You get so much stuff. I'm tier 3, which just means I get like extra color options. But most of it's free. The guy who makes this stuff is big, seems to be big into the game Frostgrave, which is a really cool miniature agnostics game, which means it's a minis game. It's a really fun minis game where you can. It's so funny. I'm using my hands to illustrate stuff. I forgot I'm not being recorded. It's a minis game where you can use any kind of minis you want to play it. You don't need to buy a specific line of minis. And so this creator really likes that game and makes a lot of minis so that you can play Frostgrave, so vampires and zombies, or a phytomance. I don't even know what the hell that is. I don't play enough Frostgrave. But he has tons for all the summons in Frostgrave. He's made just like a ton of really cool stuff for that game. So if you're a Frostgrave head, like, Printable Heroes is for you. And be sure to check the link in the description. I've made up a master list in my blog of Paper Minis creators, so you can see all sorts of different artists and the amazing stuff they're making. And between all the people I've listed there, they've got something to meet your needs. So go check it out. This next one's Paperforge. Paperforge is Patreon, so you're looking at their Patreon page. They have a similar coverage and style as Printable Heroes, but it's a little tougher to browse, and there's not quite as much, but it's great looking stuff. So you'd have to go to their master list and you search by, like, you'd look down and scroll, or you could like do a word search, and a lot of this stuff looks really fun and awesome. It has kind of a poppy, cartoony style, but it mixes well with other paper minis, and I really like them. There are all sorts of artists you can find with different styles, different minis on offer. Some more photorealistic, some even more sort of wild and crazy and indie or whatever, right? Oh, look at this Were-Rat pack. That's impeccable. And so you can look around anywhere. But there's one last thing I want to show you that's kind of special, and then I'm going to show you how I make these. Now, the last thing I want to show you is actually something I think is really cool, which is Hero Forge. So Hero Forge is actually for highly customizable 3D minis, right? And you can use Hero Forge to make anything, man. You can make dwarves and sci-fi things and customize the clothing and all the outfits, and even, ready, check this out, the pose, right? So, like, we got a guy posing like this. We got a guy posing like this. Jack, why are you wasting my time? Why are you talking about Hero Forge? I don't need 3D minis. I thought you were talking about paper. You're a charlatan. You are a shill. You work for the man, for the government, for possibly Hero Forge or worse. You work for Hasbro. No, I am a friend. I am here for your paper minis. I'm going to show you something that everybody's been keeping from you this whole time, which is that if you go, so let's just say you go to buy a Hero Forge mini, right? It'll ask you what kind you want. You're going to scroll down to Color Standy. Check this out. Ready? Let me see if I can get this right. Can you choose camera? So you got your guy like this, right? Can I zoom out more? No, I can't zoom out, but what you're going to do is you're going to take a screenshot of like just this section right here. So you're going to crop a screenshot of this. You're going to use this button over here called flip to the other side. I can't do the screenshot while screen recording. But you take a screenshot of this. I think you zoom out too. It's not working for me, but you zoom. Oh, kind of worked. Zoom out, flip to the other side. Take a screenshot of that. Use a background remover. And I'm going to show you what you get. Let's get out of screen capture mode and back on the table. So that's Hero Forge. And once again, a reminder, I've got a link in the description where you can browse a master list of more Paper Minis creators so you can find something to meet your needs. Go check it out and subscribe there to my blog. That's jacke.substack.com. Now, check it out. We were just talking about Hero Forge, right? So this is what you get from Printable Heroes. If you go to Printable Heroes and pick out the ice method, I'm going to make ice methods for you guys. You get a sheet like this of a PDF that you print out on your cardstock, and you get that. And then, if you go to Hero Forge, remember how I made those? These are some of the characters from my home game, some of my players. You place your Hero Forge, your background remove Hero Forge you got right there, and 360 them like that, kind of to mirror this. Now, the cool thing about that's time consuming, man. Like doing this for Hero Forge, I think is only worth it for players in a campaign. So here's the result. Ready? So Hero Forge, ready? Boom. These are the coolest thing. You get them. The coolest thing about Hero Forge, multiple poses. I forgot to mention, right? Like each of my players, I've got 5 players in my home campaign. They've got look at her. This character's named Elga. Her resting pose, her like fighting pose mini, and her like she's a barbarian. Sometimes her rage or her shifter mode mini. And it was worth me taking the extra time to make these because they use these every week for, oh my god, it's like almost 2 years now. I think this campaign's actually ending Sunday, which is why I'm going to make these frost methods. Anyway, all of that to say, those are some great sources. Again, there are sources all over the internet. And by the way, you actually don't need a special Paper Minis creator of any kind, because if you get desperate and you need something, this is like a bad guy. These are the bad guys from the Wild Beyond the Witchlight campaign. Spoiler alert. You can just print out the official art, right? And like you don't need a back and front flip, and you can just like throw that up. I ran a great encounter and it works, right? Like you can just print the official art on cardboard, man. Well, matte cardstock. So that's where I get this from. If you got any more questions, hop in the comments. I'd be happy to make other recommendations. Throw in some more creators. Like I want to know what y'all guys think. But I promised that the last thing I would do. Let me check my notes here. I think I'm showing you guys how I make these. I showed you Printable Heroes. I showed you Paper Forge. Full-length art that you find of a creature. Making official art into Paper Minis, making one in Hero Forge, and now I'm going to make them for you. So first, get your printout. Let's clear the way, man. Using the materials, I'm going to make them right here for you. Using the materials that we had earlier. So the first thing you're going to do, I'm going to scooch here, is you're going to make a rough cut on the outline. Now this is relaxing. Sometimes I'll you print out a couple sheets. You print out like 10 sheets of paper minis, right? And I'm taking more time than I have to. You just get through it, right? You just sit down in front of the TV, binge something, and make paper minis. Put on a podcast. You can even teach your players to do this. Right before a game, I've printed like 10 sheets of paper minis. Been like, okay, fam, here's how to do it. We're making them. Rough cut. See those circles? Those are going to get cut off. Those are for if you want to use the paper bases that are on there, but we're not going to use those, so we're going to cut those. First thing, do a little fold along that top line. Right there. You can just kind of gently make the fold quickly and then pinch it hard to properly make it good enough. And now that you've cut and folded roughly along the outside, we're going to glue like crazy. Now, here's where papercraft nuts are going to lose their effing shit at me. Because I'm going to do something that is like not generally advised, but I'm telling you, this is how I do it, and it works every time, and it's foolproof, and it's great. You're just going to slather this shit. You're just going to get it all over. You're not going to be like, careful. It's okay if it's chunky, if it's okay if it's thick. Oh, look, I'm running down. I told you I run down glue stick quick, right? And I'm gotta lean around my mic. You're just going to get on every part. You don't really need to get it this thick. I'm exaggerating a little bit here, but boom. You're just going to cover that in glue. You're going to fold it tight together. And then you know what I do is I use the lid of the glue stick. And I put my finger in there like that. And I use that to flatten it out. So, kind of like that. That smooths it out for me. Make sure there's nothing wrinkly. And that's that, and I get this. I get this chunky thing right here. Now, I'm going to set this aside because I made one right before recording this. This one's dry. Doesn't take long. It's like 5-10 minutes that you're ready to work with this. And I've got this, right? So I did my rough cut around the edge, put the crease in, glued it, flattened it, and now I've got this. It's chunky. It's tough. First thing I'm going to do, cut the feet. People who love minis are going to be like, dude, what the hell are you doing? You cut the feet. And by the way, you can cut the feet right down to the base, or you can give it like, I'm going to leave like a little millimeter here, extra. See, there's a little extra at the bottom there. A little footy. I started doing the footy. You can, if you look at these goblins, they've got big footies on them. Here. See all that white space right there? But I don't bother with that anymore. I just cut right along the feet. So, and the last step, you just cut it out quickly. Do a rough outline. Now, you can do this a couple of ways, this outline. You could do it... I don't do meticulous. I like the white border. I've experimented with keeping it really tight. I've experimented with huge, white, fluffy, cloud-like borders. I've experimented with doing it really flush to the mini. I like a gentle white border, and here's what I like to add. Ready? So you can do it wide. I'll do a really wide one, right? You can just cut it out like that. It doesn't fit in the base as well all the time if you do like this, right? Might be tough to, let me say. Yeah, this one still gets in its Litko base, even like that. You don't want it too narrow at the bottom because then it won't, it'll pop out. It'll go through and pop out too easy. It's kind of a tough balance. But you want, and we've got a couple of those, and let me do one more. Here's what I really like to do. Masterclass time. Ready? This is what I prefer. The look of, generally. I'm going to need all these methods for, gosh, the fight on Sunday. Okay. Here's what I like to do. I like to create a white outline, but I make that outline roughly the shape of whatever it is I'm cutting. So roughly the same wing shape. If you really want to make it look good, keep it flush there. Yeah, look at that. Boom. That is like an ideal frost method. Check that out. And that's it, man. That's straight up making yourself some paper minis. Felt good to get that off my chest. And for glue, I just used this extra piece of cardstock I had as a mat. And And those are my paper minis. Oh, storage. Lastly, I want to talk about storage. Okay, so you make hundreds of paper minis like that. You have a good time. Pile up methods. Love, live, laugh, love. Where are my... I'm going to lean across. Here's a binder. I've got tons of these. Get a binder. These are trading card inserts. So they're 4. Do I have any cards on hand? I don't have any cards I can reach. These are for trading cards. I use them to sort minis. You can fit anywhere between 1 to 10. If you really make them really thick with 10, I usually use 5 at a time. Oh, look, the methods I was using for ice. Here's the funny thing, right? Like, I was using these for ice methods, but now Printable Heroes, since he's still working, he just dropped proper... Those are like smoke methods. He just dropped proper ice methods, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I gotta have those. So I printed these out. So a couple of them in each card thing, and then there are, for larger pieces, terrain pieces, this giant Tyrannosaur, you can have these full-page binder inserts. And what's cool about this is, look, man, this mini right here, like, you can get... If you got like a little thin thing about this weight, you could fit like 20 of these, right? I fit 20 orcs. I fit 20 orcs like on this, right? Like I fit 100. I fit a battalion of orcs in a binder like this, not just a squad, right? And so I've got probably thousands of paper minis, and I think I have 3 binders. And what's cool is you get to this point. Watch this. I got my campaign binder for Rime of the Frostmaiden, which I'm finishing up. And I keep these are my seasons, my calendar, extra character sheets, and some handouts that I made. And then I can have my minis right there. I tried storing using these medium-sized things, but I think these suck. I would just stick with trading card inserts that you could use, that like Magic the Gathering card players used to store their stuff. Or the full-length inserts. That's it. Subscribe, I guess, right? Yeah, subscribe to this channel. I'm going to do more cool stuff. If you've got questions, like, ask them in the comments. I'm happy to answer anything. I don't have an email or anything like that yet. But I've got a blog, so I'll put some, like, blog stuff in. I'll link the Litko bases. If I forgot anything, just, like, interact with me, and I'm happy to take you through more. If you want more of these videos, I'll make, like, a terrain one. I make papercraft terrain. I make a cheap version of Ultimate Dungeon Terrain that Professor Dungeon Master makes. I make, like, really cool sets. I'm not going to be using them a lot in the future, which is why I want to offload all this information. I'm actually pulling back from tactical combat, and so I'm kind of like, I figured it all out. I've climbed this mountain. I want to share it with you all. I'm also going to share more videos. I'm going to do something on lots of stuff. I'm going to do videos on how to organize your games. Like, literally, I never make time to play D&D. My group can never get together. I'm going to, like, take you through my method of, like, how you schedule sessions. I'm going to do a series on Rime of the Frostmaiden. I spent, like, I spent, like, months hacking Rime of the Frostmaiden to death and learned an enormous amount about world building in the process, and I'd love to share that with you guys, just as an exploration of, like, how to use culture and religion as palettes and sort of, like, painting palettes so that you can, like, improvise well. I want to talk more about, like, the role of, like, intuition and improvisational GMing. There's a lot of shit I want to talk about. But thank you for sticking through. I hope this was helpful for you. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Jack Edward. It was a pleasure sharing this stuff with you guys. And I'll come up with a sign-off for next time. Be well.